Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So today's been really kind of stressful, a lot of tension, a lot of people just overreacting to situations, a lot of people definitely just hyper as far as like their anxiety is just super heightened. Their behavior is escalated as far as their reactions to other people, a lot of disrespect, and honestly a lot of just like demonic, behavior. I mean, really, like that's where a lot of this is stemming from. And we've talked about that, right? We've talked about people are going to have a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety. And like I said, the more that people's wallets start getting crunched, and the more unhappy people are with their lives, the more the light within us is going to just destroy those people. Because it's like the old saying, like your light aggravates the demons in others, right? And it's true. And we know this world is rampant and run by demonic presence at this time. And we have to be the warriors and really fight through any situations that we are facing. And we have to come together and we have to support one another. That is really, really important. And so one of my friends today was asking me basically some, just wanting to know how we brew tea, which I know that we brew tea. I've showed you guys this, but it's okay. Sometimes we just need to go back and reflect. The question was, how do I come up with like a tea, or how do I know what I want to brew? And reality is that it kind of just depends on the day, right? So today, like I said, was really heightened. A lot of just angst and anxiety was running rampant today. A lot of continued crybabiness and just insecurities in a lot of people. And so I would say today, and this is where you've got to get a grasp of alternative medicines and basically just understanding the herbs that you're planting or herbs that you can purchase. And so lemon balm to me is definitely a good go-to, because lemon balm has anti-anxiety properties. It allows for calm to enter the body, and that's really important. And so I actually had already made a round in the garden. I had come out and I was like, let's just kind of head out to the garden. I knew that today had already been pretty stressful. And so I had already started to get the tea brewing. I actually pulled some lemon basil. I wanted to make sure that I had lemon basil. I just like the flavor of it overall. But that's kind of why like I grow lemon basil. We've got pineapple sage too that we can be growing, but this is my lemon balm. You can see how beautiful it is. It's spreading throughout the garden. And all I do is I just come out here and I just kind of pinch this top off. Usually I cut it, but right now we're just gonna pinch it. And you can see here, I'm gonna estimate that there's at least probably 15, probably 10 large leaves overall, but about 15 leaves are on here. And I'm just going to actually just pinch this down and then flop this over. And I'm going to end up putting this into my tea blend. Now remember that when you're making a tea, that definitely having fresh herbs is going to have a much stronger flavor, aroma, and taste than if you dehydrated these leaves or purchased leaves that were dehydrated. So that's just something to keep in mind. And the more you kind of pinch this back, the easier the plant has on growing. It gets a little more bushier, and I think that that's more attractive overall. But I mean, if you have a long lanky plant, that's fine too. Like it is what it is, right? But I just recommend kind of pinching it back and just getting the herbs that you like. So I came over here and I've already pinched off my lemon basil. I've got lemon basil right here. I've got it growing throughout this pot. You can see it all down in here. The tomato is kind of taking over. You can see this tomatoes need definitely some love. It just kind of popped up on its own. The leaves are really unattractive. There's definitely a nutrient deficient substance going on here, but the other leaves look really great, and it's just kind of taking over. But if I wanted to, here's another lemon balm back here, or I'm sorry, a lemon basil. You can just pinch these heads off, which I really need to like cut them. But these are just seed pods. You can let it go to seed, but if you cut all those back, it'll just cause the plant to become bushier, and that's really what you want to see. I usually just drop this back into the garden and kind of let it just come back to life on its own when it's ready. A lot of times you're going to find that basil is just self-sowing. Even if you flip the soil around, at some point you're going to have more basil that pops up. But if not, and you want to seed save, that's important too, especially depending on the area that you live in. I think that it just kind of depends on if your seeds are going to come back. But for us here in Florida, that's usually a plant that will self-propagate. As you guys will see, I have a lot of times when the seeds fall into the rocks, it'll just come up through the rocks. It really likes a more airy type growing area, and so that's why I really like using that one bag of soil that I get that has the bat guano in it, because it's got a lot of like perlite, it's light and fluffy, and that's where these do really well. So I had already came out here and I grabbed some of that, but because I knew today was super stressful and just like intense, and I still have clients that I have to work with tonight. The other night I had a client, I was literally, they were in crisis, and I literally this was just yesterday actually, and literally I spent 3 hours on the phone with them because they were in crisis. And so, you know, it just makes it, you know, difficult. It's harder, right? It's harder on anybody that's going through crisis. And, you know, setting boundaries doesn't always work. Like, oh, we only have an hour. Sometimes you really got to work through a client like that. And you can see I've already come out actually and picked the berries, but I've got lizards and stuff that are birds that are coming along and eating my berries. So I just wanted to show you guys. You can see here, like you can see it's been eaten at. This one has also been eaten at. And that's what happens, like the squirrels come around. A lot of pinks are in here right now, so I wanted to show you guys what is happening. But I came over here and I got some of these berries. Look how beautiful it is though overall. We've got berries here. These berries I didn't pick because they're just not quite ready yet. You can see the underneath of them is still pink. So I just kind of wanted to hang on to those. But this is the ever-bearing blackberry. Look, see, they're not quite, they're kind of like half and half. They're still trying to like pull through. You can see these got eaten. This one got eaten. And that's part of the problem is you come out and they're just eaten up. The lizards love these berries. And so unfortunately, I probably need about 10 or 15 plants to really get a good bushel of blackberries. And that's why I come out here and I just eat a couple of them at a time when I see them, and I grab them. And I don't really wait, just because this is what happens, is that we end up not being able to get to our berries. You can also utilize the leaf on here and you can make a tea. You guys start learning the things that you need to be successful in having an herb garden, and doing a tea garden. I could even throw in a passion fruit. I've had a couple of passion fruit fall, not a lot. It's not quite ready for them yet. We've been getting a little bit of rain, and you can see that the tomato bush is still out of control. Starting to get some tomatoes. I got a couple, like this, my beautiful blue butterfly pea flower really just didn't come back. I was telling my fiance that we need to cut this. I've got some greenery at the top up here, but for the most part it really just isn't producing. I've got a couple of, like maybe about 5 or 6 flowers, But overall, that's not what we want to see. So I'm gonna end up pulling this plant because it's just not producing like I want it to. And I've given it a little bit of time, and we're definitely in the rainy season, and I need my blue butterfly pea flower pollen to really produce for us, because that's where we make our herbals from. Let's go back here. We're gonna see back here before I head in and brew this tea with you all if there's any other berries, but I got another blackberry back here, but it doesn't really do well because I don't really pay that much attention to it. So all right, so we're just gonna head inside and we're gonna make this tea. And it really just doesn't take a lot to make like really good herbals, you know. Teas are just, it's really just one of the things that I really impress upon, especially my clients. It just brings a sense of calm to you or most people as individuals, and teas are great, and teas save a lot of money. Like honestly, teas are very expensive, so just keep that in mind, that you can really study up on all kinds of teas. I don't actually have like a tea book or anything. I've just learned what types of herbs work really well, and then that's kind of what I stick to. So let's go inside and brew this tea up. We have our Chefman teapot. I've actually filled it with some warm water from the Zephyr Hills water container. And here is that lemon basil that we got. Basically what I'm gonna do is just stick it in the bottom of that cylinder. And then I've gathered up quite a few of my berries. Here they are. Like I have more sitting down here on the countertop, but here they are. And so I'm gonna throw about, I'm gonna say this is, yeah, let's do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5. 5 berries. I'm just gonna put in this container as well. Oh, that really filled it up. Okay, we'll do 3. And then I'm also gonna put my nice big chunk of lemon basil in there. Now you can just do lemon basil by itself, whatever works best for you. But just learn about your herbs, learn about things that you would like to actually potentially drink, or at least give it a try. Try something unique. All right, and then the lid just slides right on like that, and it locks in. And then it's plugged in. We just press the start button and it will brew up for us. It's just beautiful. It's calming. I even enjoy just looking at the light and when it starts to like bubble up. Now what I will do is I will actually let this tea steep even after it's boiled for a solid 15 or 20 minutes. That way it's kind of cooled down enough that I can also add my honey. We go through quite a bit of honey because we use the garlic honey. I do a lot of garlic honey, and we make a lot of tea around here. Like I said, tea is one of my big things I like to drink. I have a hard time just kind of drinking straight up water, and so tea is definitely a good way to do that. And a lot of people kind of get turned off by tea, and I think it's the bitterness of the store-bought tea that has a tendency to kind of deter people from wanting to drink tea. But if you actually just start brewing your own tea like this and growing some of these herbs that can be used for tea and these beautiful flowers, I think you guys will absolutely begin to love the process and practice of creating calmness through drinking something beautiful like a home brewed herbal tea. So that's what my goal was today, was just to kind of encourage you all to begin considering bringing tea into your life and kind of answering one of those questions about how do I, you know, figure out what I'm gonna brew or what I'm gonna make. And it really just depends on how I'm feeling. I think that's a big factor. And you know, if it's cool outside, you know, I've got that spearmint tea out there. I've got, or a plant, I've got all kinds of plants that I'm really leaning into that herbal component now. And I want to do a lot more dehydration so that in the future, if I don't have something natural, I can absolutely just go to my dried herbs and just start creating these beautiful mixtures so that we can enjoy something nice and calming. I also want to let you guys know that you're not alone, that everybody, I think, is really starting to feel the stress and anxiety of the world. I'm telling you all, I have so many people contacting me and reaching out to me and telling me that they are very stressed, that they're uncertain about the world and our future, and I just want everybody to kind of step back for a minute and just take some deep breaths and continue that practice throughout the day, especially if they're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. I don't want anybody feeling like that, you know, like there's alternatives that we can do to kind of help ourselves. All right, friends, I don't want to keep you for too long, but I want you to know that you're not alone. So until next time, love one another, be kind, have a nice glass of tea, do your deep breathing, and I will see you all real soon.